Guys, what is going on? I hope you have an absolutely killer one. Now, if you haven't seen part 1 of my studio build, I'll link it up here so you can go check that out. Part 1 is all about setting up the actual studio itself, whereas this one is all about setting up the smart lights and automating it all through Google Home. Right, so a few more bits and bobs have arrived. This is the smart controller for the RGB LED strips. So basically this is a Wi-Fi controller that you can connect up your RGB LED lights to, and then you can basically use it to control through your phone, through an app on your phone, or you can connect it up to like Google Home, or I think you can do Amazon Alexa as well. So yeah, if you want to make these LED RGBs smart, then this is the controller that you want to get. So I've got a spare little bit of RGB strip here, so I'm going to use this just to test it and also show you how you'd wire this up. Alright, so we've got the little controller here, and we basically just want to take this off and loosen off the screws that we need. And the only annoying thing about this one is that you have to hardwire it. So you have to hardwire the RGBs into it, and you have to hardwire the power. So for my instance, when I'm going to have to get under the cabinet and wire this in, but then once it's done, it'll be done. I can just kind of like tape it down, and then should be good to go. So now we look at the actual RGB strip. We have 12 volt, green, red, and blue. So we just want to make sure they correspond to the right wires, and then put them into the correct position on the controller as well. And we just need to get the power. Now for the power, it's a little bit different because you have this little brick thing, and you got the plug at the end. So basically we just want to do the same thing, make sure it's disconnected, chop it off, strip the wires, find the ground and the power. And then for this one, because they're both black wires, we need to look for some markings, and this one has some dots on it. So anything with markings is typically the positive one, but if you're unsure, just get a multimeter out, then you can try that as well. So we'll go negative and positive. And now for the test, and hope it doesn't blow up in our face, and bam. We have power, and then this little sequence indicates that it is ready to be connected. Then we just need to download the Magic Home app, and then we can start getting it all set up. Alright guys, so let's do this. So we are going to connect the smart controller to our Wi-Fi, and then be able to control it through Google Home. So first thing I want to do is go to the top right corner and connect a new Wi-Fi network. Once we go in here, it tells us to connect to the Wi-Fi, so we'll swap to the Wi-Fi. Oh, not that one. Wi-Fi. We'll choose the LED. And once we're connected, we will go back into the app. So I'm already connected. And here we can choose our Wi-Fi network. Choose this one. I'm just gonna wait for it to connect. And then once it's connected, it will go green to tell you that it has been connected. We just gotta wait for the app to update. And then we can name it Shelf Light 2. And then now we are connected. We'll do a quick test, and we'll turn it off. We'll turn it back on. And then we'll go into it, and it asks us this. So ours is a RGB, so we'll choose that one and choose OK. And here we can choose and make sure that all the colors are right. If your colors aren't going red, blue, green when you go to that, it just means that your wires are around the wrong way. So you just need to figure out which one is which, and then put it in the corresponding one. And once you've done that, we will go to the Google Home app, and we'll go to the top left and choose Setup Device. Have already something set up. And again, we'll type in Magic Home. Got Magic Home Wi-Fi. Let's click on that one. Because I've already set up, it says check for new devices, but in here you just have to go through and register your account. But I'll go check for new devices. Bam, Smart Shelf Light 2 Smart Light. Next, put it in the right home, and then again, we are ready to go. For some reason, it is grouping them in all 3 studio lights. I'm going to try to figure that out and adjust that, but we can quickly test it out and go red. red, we got blue, and green. Alright guys, so now I have these set up, I will wire them up to the actual LED RGB lights, and then we can go from there. Alright guys, so now that we've set up our smart devices, we can go into the Google Home app and we can start setting up what are called routines. Now routines are like custom commands, so you can set a word or a sentence that you would like to say, and in response to that, you'll get Google to do a set amount of actions. So let's jump right in and I'll show you exactly how to set this up. So firstly, we want to go through, I want to see what our devices are called. So I've actually gone through and I've renamed all my different devices. So how to rename something is you go into it and then you click the little gear icon up the top and then you'll have names. So you can click on that and you can rename whatever you want. Now I've already gone through and renamed everything, so then everything's in a nice simple format, so when I'm writing out the actions, it's just really easy, you don't get confused. Now what I highly recommend as well is making a Word document with all your different devices and the exact naming that you've given them. The reason that I say to do this is so that when you're writing your actions, you don't accidentally misspell something and then Google doesn't understand what you're trying to tell her to do. So once we're in here and we've renamed everything, we can go into routines, and then we go down to the bottom and we can do manage routines. Now here's a big plus button, so we click that to make a new routine. And then we just basically go through the list. So it says when I say, and we just need to add a command, it's edit time. And then alternatively, you can actually set a time and day as well that you want this to happen. And you can choose which speaker you want the prompt or the command to come through. For this instance, we don't actually need to set a time or a day. And the next one is the most important bit. So it says the Google Assistant should, and we can add actions. So when you click on add action, this tells us what we want the actual command to be. Now you need to know the basics of Google Assistant commands because these are the exact prompts that you would actually give Google if you were doing it manually. So essentially what I wanted to do firstly is I want the studio key light to turn on. Now because my key light isn't actually a smart device, what I've done is I've plugged it into a smart power board and then I'll tell Google to turn on a certain socket on the power board to essentially turn on the light. So we will do turn on PS2 for power switch 2. And then if I refer to my Word document, I can see that the key light is on switch 2, so PS2 S2. So that is the first command we want. And then once you've done this, we can just add more actions, and you can just add as many actions as you want until you're happy with all the actions that are taking place. Then once you're finished, we just hit save, and then we just get out of the routines, and we go back into it, we can actually just test them out. So let's try one that I've already done. So I want to shoot a quick tip. So what I've done for this one is I want the lights to dim, I want the key lights to turn on, and I want the background lights to turn to a purple. So if we click on this one, we can just test it out. And as you can see, the background lights have turned purple. The key light was already on, so it didn't need to turn on, but you can see it works. And then once you know the routine actually works and we've got all the bugs out of it, then we can start testing the voice command. So, hey Google, let's shoot a quick tip. And the set is ready to shoot a quick tip. Now what's really cool about this as well is you can actually add multiple or different commands depending on the way you want to say it, I guess, and then Google will still do the same thing. So we go back into our routine and we go to when I say and we click on that. Down the bottom, we can actually add in another command. So as you can see here, I've got a few different commands that I could potentially say if I want to shoot a vlog. Now the main reason that I actually wanted to do this was in the past I have shot videos and I've wanted to have say like a red background for a review and a teal background for a tutorial, but I've just completely forgotten to change the lights. By default, I just always put it on teal, and it wasn't consistent with my videos on my channel. So now basically all I need to do is just tell Google exactly what I want to be shooting. She'll set up the scene for me, and then I'm ready to go. I just have to focus on turning on the camera, get everything sorted, and delivering my lines. And then once I've finished, I can just give her the prompt, and she can turn everything off, get everything back to the way it was. I just make it super easy, way more efficient, and less stuff for me to think about, and I can just focus more on creating. Finally arrived, the last piece to my puzzle. My iMac is finally here. Now I can get that set up, plug everything in, and then I guess no excuses. I just have to start smashing it out from here. That was the last thing that I was using as an excuse, so let's just start smashing it and finish off this studio build. So guys, that is my studio space and how I made it all. It's a super fun space to use and it makes shooting content a hell of a lot easier. If you'd like to know more about specifics, then let me know in a comment below. And as always, if you like this one, consider liking and subscribing. And as always, stay creative and just be you.